All right, ask for a complete win, game out of our players. I was happy with what we did out there today. I think it was a darn good win against a really talented football team in North Carolina State. Got a lot of respect for Dave Doran and the program. We obviously gave up some big plays on defense, but I couldn't be prouder of the effort of our coaching staff, of what we put on that field today. We had a starting middle linebacker today, Abe Ibrahim, who got it done inside. When the snaps he was in. We had Kavir Baines playing outside linebacker today. We just found a way to get it done. And we talked about blue vase in it. You guys have heard about blue vase in the past. We had to find a way to get it done, and our kids played their tails off. Offensively, obviously, we're really explosive. Mason played at a high level, and that's how you win football games. Questions?
What did you say about this offense that they were able to bounce back from a poor showing last week?
Yeah, that didn't shock me. It was kind of, I love to win when you play bad, and I knew that we'd play a heck of a game on offense. I didn't know what we'd get out of our defense today, but I didn't have any doubts our guys would bounce back. They obviously weren't happy. You think about all the penalties we had a week ago, the sacks, and again, probably versus a more talented football team, gave up 0 sacks, protected the quarterback, and gave Mason a chance to do what he did. The O block was alive today.
How creative did you have to get on defense? I think second play of the game, Kavir's coming in an outside linebacker.
Yeah, creative. It was a touch and go all week. We'll be in better shape this week coming, going into the Stanford game. So, it's where we were. Our kids found a way, and there was no, oh, coach, we can't do it. It was like, coach, we'll get it done. And that's exactly what they did. And like I said, the staff did a heck of a job. Abe almost went out with a finger. I think he was in the training room the whole second half. I'm like, oh, my gosh. We can't lose him. And so heck of a job by, Lovelace. Again, we moved Lovelace from middle linebacker to outside linebacker. So it was a complete, mess at linebacker. But we found a way to get it done. That's the biggest thing.
It's the big plays. There were a couple in the first half. I guess what changed that allowed you to bottle them up in the second half? So
we bottled them up for the most part, and we gave up an inside zone. Again, I saw the iPad already. Fitzy gets reached. Cam Lindsey, hesitates in the box if he doesn't step in the. It's a young backer getting meaningful reps in a big game against a great tailback, and we let him split us, and that's you can't do it. And again, tailback, I thought it was inside zone. I watched the videotape, but it was outside down. That guy went 3 steps and poof, pushed it vertical. And again, we just didn't execute on that play. They had a kind of an unbalanced shot where. We were calling it out from the sideline, knowing because number 12 was really deep in that set, and we thought it was going to be a double pass, and we were in cover 3, and our kids broke up on the bubbles because they were hitting us in bubbles earlier. They tried to take advantage of Kyle Lewis not being out there, with all those bubbles they were throwing early in the game. Kyle Lewis is out there. He prevents a lot of that because he's so big, fast, and physical. They took advantage of some things, but our guys managed to get it done.
Mason was here a few minutes ago talking to us, not about all the stats he put up, but more so just things and plays that he felt like he and you guys left there on the field. Just how would you assess what you got out of Mason today?
Mason played great, and again, that's he's upset, and he's in the locker room upset that he missed some throws, missed that, and could have done this better. But that's kind of how he is. He's not worried about what he did well. He's worried about what he can fix, and you got to love that.
NC State was combined for 16, I think, on 3rd and 4th downs. What can you say about your defense stopping them on the money downs?
We put a whole new package in. We put in the Night Stalkers on 3rd down. Usually we go Delta. We put in the Night Stalkers, a whole different personnel group because we didn't have. Usually we go out there with 3D linemen, and I don't know if you guys know there's Delta Force. The Night Stalkers. They had some things to do with capturing of Osama bin Laden. So our Night Stalkers went out there and got it done. But we went out there with 4D linemen, just 2 linebackers on 3rd down. And 5 DBs, so that was kind of a different package that we had to make up, and we were, scared to death of just guys executing the package the right way, but they did a pretty good job on money down.
Obviously, last week you said Dez was somewhat limited. Was he 100% today?
He practiced good last week. He was 100% going in today. Obviously not 100% coming out, and that's the fear. So he said he's good afterwards. So we'll see how he is on Monday.
Coach, you mentioned Cameron Lindsey earlier. He got the start today. He had a forced fumble. Overall, how did you feel that he played?
He had a forced fumble. I think Rashad Battle got on that. It was a heck of a play. He played good for as young as he is. I think Cam Lindsey played really good. I talked about the one run, and he knows it. There was another one. He went in front of the receiver, trying to you don't go in front of the receiver with 2 hands. you hook and swat. Could have had a PBU, but instead it was a completed pass and a conversion on third down. So those are things that he'll learn from in his young career. But he's going to be a really good young player for us.
Caleb handling some kickoffs today. What went into that decision?
Caleb, Sam's leg has been exhausted, I think, and I think he kicked it already. Kicked 2 out of bounds, putting that ball at the 35-yard line. So, he was much better in practice, but I think he got a good height on it. But he's got to drive that thing out of the end zone.
Lyndon brought the whole offensive line in here with him when he talked to us. What have you seen from him from the leadership standpoint as your offensive captain?
Yeah, I mean, Captain Cooper, right? He's an outstanding football player. It was personal for him. I don't know if you mentioned they had pictures of him up in their locker room. They kind of put a target on him, and our kids made it personal that we were going to go out and get a victory for Lyndon Cooper.
Pat, why has the offense responded to Mason the way that it has?
I'm sorry?
Why is the offense? Why they responded to Mason the way that they have?
You know what? Because he makes plays, I guess. I mean, he's getting the ball out of his hand. I mean, you give up 0 sacks and throw it 40 sometimes. I mean, he just knows where to go with the ball. I can't say they respond any different. It just Mason's making plays, and guys are going to rally around those guys that make everybody look good.
Coach, earlier this week you thought NC State, the most talented team Pitt's going to play so far this season. Did you see what you expected from them today?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Bailey's a heck of a player. I mean, C.J. Bailey, Hollywood's a great tailback. I mean, we saw him take one to the house. I mean, they're a good football team, but guess what? We got a better football team, and I think that's, the thing that everybody's got to realize.
Did you have any conversations with Deuce Spann about some of those kick return decisions?
Yes, we felt pretty comfortable with him taking it 4 yards out. So it wasn't that was by design, and sometimes you take chances. We were trying to turn Deuce loose. And we were trying to, the kids were talking about free him, free Deuce. So they call him Judy. He had one good one, right? I mean, I think he took one out to the 40, 35, 38-yard line, whatever. But sometimes you got to take a chance. And to me, we're going to be risky on special teams. You got to go make a play, and we trust Deuce to take one to the house. He'll take one to the house soon. Our special teams has been impressive. Again, go back to those 2 onside kicks. Those are never fun or easy, but our guys responded, recovering those as well. Those are big-time plays.
Couple more.
Coach, Jakarian Turner, Kyrie Busi has really stepped up these past couple of games. I mean, 2 touchdowns today, led the team in rushing yards. What have you seen from him that has allowed him to kind of become this explosiveness?
He's a mature freshman. I mean, he's a true freshman going out there getting a lot of meaningful reps. So, I mean, he's athletic. I mean, you guys see him. I mean, he's tough. He's physical. He had that one drop. Cade wanted to, choke him out there. It was a first down, P&10, easy completion, probably another first down. But, he's just going to continue to get better. He's going to be special for Pitt.
There's wins and losses, X's and O's, and all that part of coaching. But when you talk about the guys rallying around Lyndon, right, or the way the defense kind of rallied together, is that an extra sort of something that makes what you do rewarding when it comes together like that?
No question. Like I said, it's a blue vase, finding a way to get it done. Doesn't matter how we get it done, just find a way to get it done. And that special teams find a way to win a different way. And again, our guys are, we got a lot of guys reps today that you wouldn't expect maybe on the field. And that just makes us better. Our guys believe, and I think that's the most important thing. If you have belief, that's all you need. Regardless of, our guys trusted whoever's on the field, and our guys got it done.
Now, could Kenny Johnson have finished the game if you would have needed him, or is that more a precaution?
A little bit of both. A little precaution, but at halftime he's like, Coach, if I feel better, can I go in? I'm like, hey, that's up to the trainers. But he wanted to go back in there, but I'm glad we weren't able, or we didn't have to put him in there, I guess. But I don't know if he could have not. So.
What can you say about how Kavira's played both safety and then stepping up and playing some star linebacker?
I mean, Kavira's a really good football player. I mean, that kid, we got a lot of respect for him. He's not the biggest guy in the world, but he's tough. He's a playmaker, even on some of those bubbles. And this guy's taking a shot. He's, he stemmed a big tight end, stuck him inside, and made a play. I mean, he's just a football player. He makes plays, and that's why we thought he could play that outside linebacker spot, and he certainly did in 1 week. In 1 week's time, he was able to, convert and get the job done in our nickel package.
Were you surprised Smothers only got 8 carries?
Well, I mean, they got behind the sticks. I mean, they got behind the sticks. You know, I would have handed it off to them more, but you know, I'm not surprised after that 65-yarder. I'm glad they didn't, but they were, you know, they got trust in Bailey and the receivers, and you know, they had to come from behind. And I think once we got up 17 in the second half, they threw it more than they'd like to.
Good.
All right. Thanks. Have a great weekend. Get a win tomorrow night.
Mason, they obviously last week you did, I think, 140 passing yards. You had like 141 after the first quarter today, 6th highest total in Pitt history. What was just clicking today?
I think the big thing for us was just being a lot more efficient on first down. You know, we struggled last week. We were behind the sticks a lot, and you know, that's something that when you get to this level, I mean, you just can't do. You can't be in second and third and longs, and you know, we had a lot of unforced penalties last week, and just a lot of dumb mistakes, and that was and I mean, it starts with me. I mean, I took a lot of sacks last week, and I think we had 0 this week. It's a lot better. So, you know, that helps for sure. But you know, it's just like I said, just starting fast. I think that's a big thing for us. And obviously, I mean, our first drives, we've been doing a lot better, really well with that. And you know, just like I said, just being efficient for sure.
Mason, after the game last week, you talked about learning from Syracuse. What did you learn from that game, and what did you carry into this week?
I think the big thing that I learned from this past week, and you know, I still don't think we played up to the standard that we can play at, and you know, that starts with me. There were definitely a lot of plays to be made where I tried to do too much and held onto the ball, and you know, was fortunate enough to not take those sacks this week and just throw the ball away. But you know, I got to be better at you know, just taking what the defense gives me and checking it down. You know, there are times where I try and do too much and try and extend the play when, hey, you know, we got a guy in the flats that's open and we can take 5 to 6 yards on first down and just move on. So you know, we got some things to clean up, but that's this was a big bounce back week for us, and we're happy, but we're not satisfied.
Mason, can you break down that 84-yard bomb to Blue? Just how did that play develop, and what did you see kind of split second wise?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, that was something that we were talking about in the huddle, that we knew with that formation that we were in, that we were going to get this kind of coverage, and you know, it was beautiful. I remember right before we snapped the ball, I looked at the sideline at Coach Bell, and I'm like, oh, this is beautiful. This should be a touchdown. And you know, Blue does a great job of winning. We have great protection up front, and you know, it just makes my job easy. Just put it out there and let a guy who's just an absolute baller and Blue Hicks just go make a play. And you know, we did that, and it was awesome. It was very exciting, and you know, just got to keep it rolling for sure.
How would you describe your relationship with Cade and how it's grown, especially over the last 4 weeks here?
Oh, absolutely. I think Coach Bell and I have a wonderful relationship, and you know, that starts with him recruiting me and getting me to come here is a big thing. I mean, he believed in me when not a lot of people did, and you know, that just shows how good of a coach he is and how great of a person he is. But you know, the past 4 weeks, like you said, like it's just, I mean, he pushes me to be better every week, and you know, that's something where you have a little bit of success, you can't get complacent. I mean, there was a lot of things to clean up, and even today, I mean, there were a lot of things that I didn't do, and you know, that I have to be better at. And you know, he jumped me a little bit for it, but you know, that's who he is, and that's what he expects of me, and I expect that of him as well. Because you know, I'm hard on myself, but he's just as hard on me too. And so you know, that's something that, you know, with the relationship that we have, he trusts me and I trust him to, you know, put the ball in my hands, but also just, you know, to do the right thing with the ball. Like when they play deep, just check the ball down, and you know, it's something I got to work on, and he lets me know for sure. But that's the great thing about our relationship is it's awesome. I love playing for Coach Bell.
Mason, all of NC State's penalties were either on third down or 15-yard penalties. How helpful is that when, you know, your offense was riding as long as it was, and when you got tricky situations?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. No, those penalties definitely help for sure. I mean, there were times where we were in third and mediums, and you know, we get helped out with a penalty, and you know, I think that's a testament to our guys playing hard. 100%. You know, they had a couple holding penalties and face masks, all that kind of stuff. And they're just being aggressive. I get that 100%. But you know, those are fortunate for sure. There were a couple times where I got lucky with a penalty as well. You know, just that interception that I get called for holding. That's a dumb mistake, and that can't happen. But you know, we learn from it, and we move on, and we get better. And you know, we take those penalties when we get them. They help for sure.
And he had 112 yards today. You guys, how has your relationship progressed? Because you guys have seen how pretty good connection since you've been starting.
Absolutely. You know, Kenny, I mean, all of our receivers are phenomenal, and they do a great job of creating separation and understanding what routes they need to run, what depth they need to get to. And you know, Kenny's Kenny's a great example of that, of just, you know, trusting the system and just trusting what he does and the work that he puts in week in and week out. And, you know, even going through a quarterback change, these guys have been nothing but supportive of the offense, and, you know, they work their tails off. And, you know, like I say a lot, that makes my job really easy, because I can trust them to be in the correct spots and make a play and just be dudes. So it just like you said, him and I have a great connection. But I mean, all the receivers are just absolutely balling out right now, and it's great. It's great for us for sure.
Mason, when did you know how personal this was for Linden?
You know, we talked about that earlier in the week. I remembered when we kind of had our meetings that Coop used to play at NC State, and I didn't really know like the backstory of how or what was going on with that. But, you know, it's when it's something personal for Coop, and, you know, and that's something big for him. You know, it's personal for all of us, because we're a family and we're a brotherhood here. And, you know, I'm glad we could just come out and get a win. I mean, that's a tough team. They're really talented offensively and defensively, and, you know, it's just it's great to be able to get that dub for not only the university but for Coop, because, you know, that, like you said, that is a personal game for him, and I'm just glad that we were able to come out with a dub.
Mason, most passing yards by a freshman Pitt quarterback in a single game for you tonight. What does that mean to you?
You know, it's funny. I was talking to one of the quarterbacks about that. You know, that's great, but like there were a lot of plays that we left out on the field, and there were a lot of things that we need to clean up, and a lot of mistakes that I made personally that, you know, I mean, it's got to be fixed. And, you know, those are the things that we learn from, and we watch film, we get better from, and we move on for next week, and, you know, just take that and get better. And you know, it's great, the accolades and all that kind of stuff, but I just want to win, and you know, coming out with a dub, that's all that matters, and we're moving on to next week. We'll enjoy this one tonight.
Jim, last one. You know, obviously NC State, people look at the box score, 445 yards, 34 points, but what can you say about your defense, just keeping you guys in the game, getting stops?
The defense played absolutely lights out, and, you know, Coach Dews talked a lot about just minimalizing those big plays, and, you know, they had a couple in the first half, but, you know, the defense just absolutely fought their tails off, and you know, that makes the offense's job a lot easier, because, you know, that creates momentum for us, and, you know, when we get great field positions as well, that helps. And I mean, we had the ball. I mean, it felt like 5 different times in the second half where we were outside of the 40, like going in their territory, or 40 plus. So it's just, I mean, that makes it a heck of a lot easier for us. But, you know, they played really hard, and, you know, we're dealing with a lot of injuries on that defensive side. So the guys that came up, they stepped up in a huge way. So, you know, that's all you can ask for in a defense, and we're excited to continue to get better and get a lot of our guys healthy for sure.
Mason, thank you.
Awesome, appreciate it, guys. Hail to Pitt.
Yeah. Sorry.
I mean, you guys gave up 7 sacks last week against Syracuse. How much did you take this personally this week?
Man, we knew what type of O-line we got in this room, and I'll take these 5 guys over anybody in the country. And we knew we had to put better stuff on tape, so we knew we had to be better from what we was last week. And, man, this game was personal to me, so my guys had backed me up, and I appreciate the O-line and the O-block for that.
After such an ugly offensive performance last week, even though you came out with the win, how good does it feel today to see you guys doing so well up front, and then Mason, you know, staying clean and able to throw the ball?
Man, it feels good, because last week, even though we got that win, none of us was happy with that win. We weren't satisfied. We was very upset about the way we played, and we knew, I mean, we got 6 in the backfield. We got to protect him at all costs, because he's a playmaker, and as long as we keep him up and give him time in that pocket, we got a good chance to win the game.
Lyndon, why'd you bring your friends in?
Man, it's O-block, man. Without me, I ain't nobody. So I really appreciate these guys, man. So, yeah, man, we one unit, man. Ain't no individuals in our room.
You talked about this game being personal. Obviously, you're playing NC State, but how much did these guys know how personal it was for you?
Man, yeah, they knew a lot, man, because I kind of tell my story to these guys a lot, what happened to me at my other school. And, man, them boys had put my face up all in the NC State's locker room. They put my face on the D-line room, mind you. They had 60-plus transfers come out that school, but when it came to Coop, you know what I'm saying, they wanted to make it a little personal. So I wanted to make sure that we knew that it was personal to me and to the team, but it was bigger than NC State. We know we can win that game. At the end of the day, I've been preaching it all year. It's us versus us, and as long as we do our job, man, we'll be unstoppable.
You guys played in a close game last week. I mean, just coming out against this team to blow them out, sort of. I mean, what does that mean to you guys?
And it feel good, man. Like, just silence the doubters, man. Like, we know what we got in our building. We know what we got in this room. We know what we got at quarterback. And in defense, we got some guys banged up, but they coming back, though, so we just going to keep getting better and better.
What kind of momentum do you feel like you guys have crafted for yourself, having won for a month straight, 4 straight wins?
Man, the momentum keep rolling, man. At the end of the day, this is a win, but we fleshing it. We got our focus on Stanford. We got a long flight out there, so we got to get our minds and bodies prepared for that.
How is it that your quarterback keeps getting better?
Man, he's just a baller. I mean, we kind of seen it through fall camp. I mean, low-key spring ball, too. So he's a baller. Every week he grows as a person. I mean, we're all human. We get better every week. And like I said, as long as we keep him protected and give him time, we got playmakers on that field, wide receivers and running backs and tight ends that can make plays. So that makes his job just 10 times easier.
What's it been like watching Boosie Turner really show up these past couple of games? I mean, 50 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Man, it's been amazing. I mean, that we have like 2-3 running backs that can do the same thing Dez can do. You know what I mean? So it's a blessing that we got Boosie on our side. That's all I can say.
Yeah, obviously it's the other side of the ball. But I mean, the defense, for how shorthanded they were today. I mean, you guys saw how hard they fought. I mean, what did you take from what you saw from that side?
Man, we got one badass defense, excuse my language. I mean, we got so many people out and so many guys that stepped up, young guys that never got their opportunities, but at the end of the day, when their opportunity was called or their name was called, they stepped up to the plate. So I really appreciate our defense and the defensive staff for that.
Good. Lyndon, thank you.
Appreciate y'all.